तो पिलामाने आजिर ए भिडियोरे द बालाड ऑफ फादर गिलिगन रो किछि वस्तुनिष्ठ प्रश्नोत्तर गुडी को आलोचना करिबा। व्हाट इज द बलाड? ए नैरेटिव पोएम, ए सब्जेक्टिव पोएम, ए डेस्क्रिप्टिव पोएम, ए शॉर्ट पोएम? उत्तर हेबो ए नैरेटिव पोएम। Why was William Butler Yeats awarded the Nobel Prize in 1923 for literature, for drama, for mysticism, for the Ballad of Father Gilligan? उत्तर हेबो for literature. William Butler Yeats is a or an dash poet. English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh. उत्तर हेबो Irish. Question number 4. Apart from being a poet, William Butler Yeats was also a dash: dramatist and novelist, dramatist and actor, dramatist and mystic, mystic and priest. Uttara hebo dramatist and mystic. In the poem The Ballad of Father Gilligan, the poet dash mourns for the weary priest, mourns for the sick, glorifies God, praise God. Uttara hebo glorifies God. Why was the old priest weary day and night? His services were required more frequently lately. He had a lot of work to do every day. His parishioners were sick and needed his assistance. He was required to pray day and night. Uttara hebo his services were required more frequently lately. What had happened to the parishioners? They were affected by some infectious diseases. Most of them were either dead or in their deathbeds. They had chosen wrong path. They had left the priest alone. Uttara hebo most of them were either dead or in their deathbeds. Who are Father Gilligan's flock? The sick people, the dead, his parishioners, the church attendants. Uttara hebo his parishioners. What does under green swords lay imply? The parishioners are dead. The parishioners are sick. The parishioners are dying. The parishioners are lying under trees. Uttara hebo the parishioners are dead. When did the father nod on a chair? At the midnight, at the moth hour of evening, in the morning, one afternoon. Uttara hebo at the moth hour of evening. Question number 11. What happened when the father nodded on a chair? Another dying man sent for him. A sick man sent for him. The god sent for him. Lots of insects surrounded him. Uttara hebo another dying man sent for him. What does the moth hour of eve signify? Evening time, morning time, night time, daytime. Uttara hebo evening time. Why is the evening time called the moth hour in the poem? Because it appears like moths flying around. Because moths in great numbers appear at this hour. Because moths bring the evening. Because moth hour is another word for evening. Uttara hebo because moths in great numbers appear at this hour. How did the father react when another poor man sent for him? He denied to go. He scolded the messenger. He began to grieve. He started at once. Uttara hebo he began to grieve. What did the father complain? He had no rest, nor joy, nor peace. He had to perform the priestly duties. He had no peace, nor rest, nor time. He had to always attend the sick. Uttara hebo he had no rest, nor joy, nor peace. Why did the father have no rest? A lot of his parishioners were sick. A lot of his parishioners were dying. A lot of his parishioners have disappeared. He had to travel a lot. Uttara hebo a lot of his parishioners were dying. Why did he ask for God's forgiveness? He realized that he had committed a sin by complaining. He realized that it was his duty to attend the dead. He realized that he was wrong in assuming that he had no rest. He realized that complaining may make God angry. Uttara hai. He realized that he had committed a sin by complaining. Question number 18. What does my body spoke not ill imply? The father's body spoke not his mouth. The father's tired body complained not he. The father's body speaks for him. The father was very tired, so couldn't speak. Uttara hai ba. The father's tired body complained, not he. How did the father pray? With his hands folded, kneeling on the ground, kneeling and leaning on the chair in the church. Uttara hai ba. Kneeling and leaning on the chair. Why did he fall asleep during his prayer? He didn't want to attend the dying man. His body was very tired and mind distressed. He wanted to have some rest. He was sick. Uttara hai ba. His body was very tired and mind distressed. What happened when the father slept? The moths multiplied in number. Another man sent for him. Night became deep and windy. The evening turned to night. Uttara hai ba. The evening turned to night. What in the poem tells us that the night approached when the father was asleep. Moth hour began to beep. He fell asleep. Stars began to appear. Birds started going to their nest. Uttara hai ba. Stars began to appear. What happened to the stars? They grew in number. They dazzled more. They looked at the sleeping priest. They covered the sky. Uttara hai ba. They grew in number. And the leaves dashed in the wind, whistled, rustled, sock, whispered. Uttara hai ba. Sock. Who whispered to mankind? Stars, trees, wind, God. Uttara hai ba. God. Who covered the world with darkness? Sky, tall trees, moths, God. Uttara hai ba. God. Question number 27. What does the time of sparrow chirp refer to? Evening, night, dusk, dawn. Uttara hai ba. Dawn. When did the father wake up? At midnight, at dawn, in the morning, in the afternoon. Uttara hai ba. At dawn. The moths appear on two occasions. What are they? Dusk and dawn, morning and evening and afternoon, night and evening. Uttara hai ba. Dusk and dawn. What shows that the father was shocked when he woke up? He stood upright. He heard the sparrows chirp. He got up with a shock. He started to run. Uttara hai ba. He stood upright. Why was the father shocked? He saw the moths again. He thought that the man had died while he slept. He realized that he had not finished his prayer. He realized that he couldn't attend the sick man. Uttara hai ba. He thought that the man had died while he slept. Whom did Father Gilligan wake up from sleep? His parishioner, the sick man, his horse, his attendant. Uttara hai ba. His horse. Why did Father Gilligan ride with less care? He didn't know how to ride a horse. He was in a hurry. His horse was very reliable. He was worried about the man. Uttara hai ba. He was worried about the man. What does he rode as he never rode? By the rocky lane and faint convey. Father Gilligan's concern for his parishioners. Father Gilligan's reckless riding. Father Gilligan's carefreeness. Father Gilligan's had lost interest in living. Uttara hai ba. Father Gilligan's concern for his parishioners. Question number 35. Who opened the door? The sick man, the father, an old man, the sick man's wife. Uttara hai ba. The sick man's wife. Why was the sick man's wife surprised to see The father. She didn't expect him to come so early. The poor man had already died. She had seen the father performing the death rituals. The father looked weary. Uttarahaba. She had seen the father performing the death rituals. Why did the father ask to the sick man's wife? Was the man dead? Was the man doing well? Was the man recovering? Was the man still alive? Uttarahaba. Was the man dead? The sick man's wife said that her husband had died dash half an hour ago, the previous night, few minutes ago, an hour ago. Uttarahaba. An hour ago. Why did the old priest sway in grief? He couldn't reach earlier. He couldn't perform his religious duty. He couldn't save the man. He couldn't see the dead man. Uttaraheba. He couldn't perform his religious duty. What did the poor man's wife say to the priest? The man was in pain at the time of his death. The man died happily after the father was gone. The man wanted to see the father in his last moments. The man was happy when he died. Uttaraheba. The man died happily after the father was gone. Which figure of speech is used in as merry as a bird? Metaphor, hyperbole, simile, personification. Uttarahaba. Simile. What did the old priest do when he understood that God had sent one of his angels to help him in his need? Prayed to God, knelt himself down, praised the God, burst into tears. Uttaraheba knelt himself down. Question number 43. Whom had God sent to help the old priest? Another priest? He himself came? One of his angels? No one. Uttarahaba. One of his angels. For whom has God made the starry nights, the sick and the dying, the tired souls, the dead souls, religious souls? Uttarahaba. The sick and the dying. Why has God made the starry nights for the sick and the dying? To make them see the beauty of nature, to make them enjoy His creation, to comfort them, to let them die peacefully. Uttaraheba. To comfort them. What does God have in His care? The sick man, the dead man, the priest and his parishioners, planets and everything on the planets. Uttaraheba. Planets and everything on the planets. God is wrapped in dash, white robes, red robes, purple robes, black robes. Uttaraheba. Purple robes. Whom does the Father call the least of things? Human beings, the sick prisoners, the sick man, himself. Uttarahaba. Himself. Whom did God have pity on? The sick man, Father Gilligan, the sick man's wife, Father Gilligan's church. Uttarahaba. Father Gilligan. Whom did the poet refer to as the Father's flock? God's angels, the Father's sheep, member of the Father's parish, the sick men of the Father's parish. Uttarahaba. Members of the Father's parish.